Hey guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 3 of making a mini album tutorial using a little golden book as the base, and as you can see here, as some of the pages. So on the first part we went ahead and transformed the book into the cover of this mini album, and on the second part we created these two signature pages. So these signature pages are created basically like a journal signature. I call this a Midori style album, and then we attach it with a regular hinge system. So if you miss the first and second parts, I will have them linked below for you. And so on today's video we are going to continue with the signature pages, but I'm going to make more of like signature mini album signature pages. So we're gonna create two more to put one here and one on the back. So I went ahead and printed out one of my digital collections. This is the Halloween Town collection that I created a couple years ago actually now, and I think it kind of goes with the Nightmare Before Christmas. Is loosely inspired on that because of the skeleton faces, but I think this will be a good match to kind of use as some of the mini album interactive pages here. So if you want to download this collection, it is available on my website, so I'll link it below. I'm also working with the remainders of this collection here that I had on my stash, and I'm happy to report that I'm almost done using this paper pack. And I probably had this for a couple of years, so I think the next series or challenge that I'm gonna do for myself is working with one paper pack from start to finish, only that paper pack, to see how many projects we can get out of that one paper pack, and get it done. And instead of like me hoarding these papers for years and years, because every Halloween I use probably a little bit of this and a little bit of that, so it would be nice to see how many projects we get out of one paper pack. If maybe we only get one big project done, but let me know if you want to see something like that. I think that's something I've been thinking on doing. So besides creating the signatures, I also want to use these papers to decorate some of the pages that are more kind of like blank. Of course, you can always leave this open to add pictures or treat it as a mini album, but I think for the cover here I'm gonna be adding maybe one of my Halloween Town images. Let me just give you a quick walkthrough as I decide which one to use. So basically we have these really cool kind of like Victorian-ish Halloween houses, Halloween decorated houses, and then created a little pumpkin patch and put the little monsters there. It was really fun creating this collection here, and like the houses and just adding the pumpkins and layering. It was just really fun to create. So we have those. Then we have this really cool haunted house. This would be a really cool layout, so if you like going to haunted houses, it would be cool to make a page dedicated to that. And then we have this guy here, and then I love that we have some purple colors. They're very Halloweeny, and some of these are like bright and happy but still a little bit creepy, cutesy ish. And then we have these pages. So when I design my pages, I like doing combination, or kind of, so you can, if you wanted to, you can make this into a full spread, like the little town people. And then same thing here, I have this page that you can make into one full town spread here if you wanted to do something like that. And then same over here with these two friends. I love the colors over here. So I'll be using some of these. I think I'm gonna start by using this guy here, and then maybe we can put that right there at the center of this a second signature. And let me go ahead and bring my cutter. And then we're gonna get right into making the signature pages. I just want to make sure I add some more detail here. So I'm just gonna cut this piece like that, maybe at 5 by 7 ish, and yeah, we can put that right there. I'm also going to just use my distress ink and just ink around it. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, and we can put that right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that right there. So let me know, what is your favorite thing to do Halloween related? Like, you like going to, you know, festivals, Halloween, you like dressing up, you don't like dressing up, you like staying home passing candy. You know, lately I have been just enjoying staying home passing candy and crafting. But I do like going to, you know, like the pumpkin patches that have a lot of different activities to do. I'm trying to make a little pocket on this page here. I think that will be kind of fun to do. So I'm just gonna use some of my little scrap pieces, and I think 5.5. Yeah, that'll be the size of this pocket here. And I'm just gonna glue it on top. So we're just gonna add glue on 3 sides. Okay, just like a overimpose pocket right there. Okay, and then I'm doing that because I want to basically add this other piece. Okay, so we can put this little pumpkin right over here. And just do that. And then I can glue this piece. Okay, just do a little decorating. I think it's just so fun to embellish and decorate even after you're done with projects. Always come back to add some more things, and this will be a fun little tag right there. So maybe for this I can just like round the corners, make it look a little bit more finished and not just like a piece of paper. So just round the corners right here. It's always fun to do something like that. And then even if you have another piece, another little scrap piece, you can always just add it, you know, just create some layers. Let me bring my scoreboard, and I'm just gonna score here at 1/2 inch along the top, or just score a little bit right there. And then we can, oops, I just dropped something. And then we can just layer it right here. It will be a nice place for a picture, but also something a little bit more interesting than just a piece of paper. We can put that right here. And that way we're using some of our scraps, leftover pieces, and making something right there. So I'm just gonna put that here. Okay, and then this could be a place for a picture there, and then this can open up and even add more pictures on this little flap piece right there. So cute little tag, and then we can put that in there. You can even make it float here at the front on the top. Okay, so we're just gonna put that there. And okay, so I think I just wanted to add some of these paper to some of the pages that don't have a lot going on. But okay, so now let's go ahead and work on the signature pages. So we have 2 more signatures to create, and I'm actually gonna be working on black cardstock and then adding our design pages and kind of, you know, deciding how to decorate. Let me just take all of these. So as I'm working on a project, I always like to keep all of my scrap pieces for the most part, and then once I'm done, if I have tiny things, I'll just get rid of them, honestly. But if I have big things like these, I keep saving them. But the goal is to finish this paper pack, so we're gonna try to use every little bit of it. Okay, so I'm going to use now some black cardstock, and I'm just going to use 65 pounds to not add a lot of weight to this book here. Okay, so let's get some sheets out, and we're gonna cut the base page. So my page, or what we're gonna cut here, is going to be we're gonna do 7.5 by 8. Okay, so that's gonna be the size for this particular book. So the pages will be the same size as the bigger pages here. Now we could also make it a little smaller, I guess. So maybe we can do 7. Okay, so 7 by 8, and we're going to score along the 7 inches. We're going to score at half and at 1. Okay, and then we are just going to fold along the score lines, and we will do 2 of those. So let me do the second one. Okay, so let's do here 7 by 8, and then we're going to score along the 7 inches at half and at 1, and we're going to fold. Okay, so now let's work on the first signature. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 6.25 by 8. Okay, and we're going to score along the 6.25. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and then we are going to fold along the score lines. Okay, and then just grab the first signature page, and we're going to glue 1 on each side. Okay, so 1 on each side. So this one here, and then we're gonna open this up. See, press down, and we're going to add the second piece right over here. Okay, and okay, make sure it's lined up. All right, now we're going to cut a piece that is going to be, I'm going to do 2. This is going to be by 6 7/8. Okay, so just a tiny bit before the 7. Okay, so 2 by 6 7/8. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. And then we're going to fold and fold here. And we're going to open this up, and we're going to add this piece right at the center, and we're gonna stay away from the edge about like an inch. Okay, and then press down and press, add the glue and then we're gonna press down here on both sides. So we are just gonna make sure that it's going straight, and there we go, and there we go. Okay, so back to the cutting part. We are going to cut one piece, and this is going to be 5.5, okay, by 9, and then along the 9 inches we are going to score at 3/4 and at 1.5, okay, and fold along these 4 lines. Okay, then we are going to cut 2 pieces here, and one is going to be 5.5 by 6 inches, and one is going to be 5.5 by 7. Okay, we're gonna glue the piece that is 5.5 by 6 along on the first 3/4 inch section here. So we're gonna add the glue, and we're going to put this piece right there and press down, and then we're going to add glue on this 3/4 inch section on the top, and we're going to add this piece right here. Okay, so we have 1 and 2. Now let's bring back this page, and we're going to open, and then we have that belly band that we just added. So we're gonna open this up, and we're gonna slide the back piece down, and then we're just gonna center it right here. Okay, so up and down you will center it, and then we are going to open these, and we're going to add the glue only on this belly band, okay, on the 2-inch belly band. Okay, and then we're gonna close this. Close that piece, press down. Okay, and so now we're gonna pull down this back piece here, and when you pull this down you're gonna have a little page that opens like that. Okay, now one thing I'm gonna do is add some seam binding on this back piece here. Okay, so we're just gonna add a little glue, and you're gonna put your seam binding or ribbon, whatever you have. And if you don't have any of that, you can just do a little piece of cardstock and just kind of fold it, and you know, all you need is a little something to help you pull down. So we're gonna add this tape here, and just press that, and I'm gonna add another piece of tape up there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just cover that little section. So we're gonna cut this at 5 1/4 and this piece is about 4.5. So you want a piece that's gonna be long enough to go under that belly band. Okay, so we are just going to glue these. Okay, so this is gonna go again under that belly band so you don't get stuck, and just center that right here. Okay, so there we go. So now it will be a lot easier for you to pull this. Okay, so now we are going to cut 2 pieces. These are going to be 6 inches. We're going to do 6 by 5.5. 6 by 5.5. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch along the 5.5. Okay, or you can score at 5. Okay, and then we are going to fold along the score lines at this, and we are going to open and open, and we're going to pull this, and we're going to keep it open like that because that's the way I like to display it. And we're going to add 1 on each side. Okay, so we are going to add the glue, and we're gonna place these on the side right there like that. Okay, and then you want to open that up and add the other piece here. Okay, so let's just line that up and then close it, and then just press down. Okay, so press down, and then here we go again. We're just gonna pull, and you're gonna stop right there, or it kind of stops right there. Okay, you could, I guess, go all the way down, but I like to stop it midway, and then you can open these 2 pieces here like that, so it looks very 3D. And then we're just gonna close and close and close this whole thing, close and close. Now I have the hinges on my left side. Okay, so I want this page to open first on the right, so that way when I'm flipping the pages it's not doing this. So I'm gonna have this one go on top, so when I flip the pages it stays kind of close. Okay, so you can also add magnets here. I'm not adding magnets. Okay, so I just wanted to have kind of like a free flow. And let's add the paper here. So I think I'm gonna use this girl. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay, so we are going to cut this piece here. This is going to be so this is 5 3/4, so we're gonna cut this at 5.5, so we can do that. Let me see, where's 5.5? Okay, so we're just gonna have to cut it from here and then cut at 5.5, and then cut this by 7 3/4. Okay, and let's ink around this page. Okay, and we can place this piece here. Okay, so let's add the glue. And let's go ahead and add that right there. Okay, so that will open up like that. so we open and open and open, and then we have our pull down. Okay, now let's just work on the back of this page, and then I'll do the paper adding later. So let's cut another piece, and I'm going to do this one at 6 by 8.5, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch along the 8.5. So I'm just going to score here 1/2 inch and fold. Okay, and then we are going to glue these along the top of the page. Okay, so make sure that you are not going to be on top of your bending line here. So mine is right at it, so I'm gonna just take out a tiny bit here. Okay, so press down, and we're going to add the glue and add this piece along the top. Okay, and then press down. Alright, then I'm just gonna use this piece here from my scraps, and maybe even this one here from my scraps, and I'm going to cut these at 6 1/4. Same thing with this one, 6 1/4, and score at 1/2 inch along the 6 1/4. Okay, and then fold along the score line, and same thing with the other one. So this one is about 6 1/4 by 3.5, and this one is 6 1/4 by 5. Okay, and that's okay. All I'm gonna do is use these pieces, and I'm going to glue these. I'm gonna glue this one here on the left side and press down. Okay, and then we can add the other one. Okay, so you could do the other side here. Just gonna play around with that, or you can do the same side and then kind of just play around with that. I mean, there's so many ways. You could also even put it on this flap and place it right there on top, or we can put it here. I mean, it's just always so fun to play with paper. So I'm just gonna add this piece on the other side over here. Okay, so we're gonna kind of center it within the other one on the left. So I think over here, press down. It's hard to see black on black, but once we add the paper, you add your paper, you'll see kind of how this is coming along. So this one is going on top of that right there. So the back obviously is bigger, and this one just opens and opens like that. And then for the inside, I want to do a floating page. So I'm gonna use one of my scraps. Cut these. This is about 2 1/2, so that's okay, but I'm gonna cut these by like maybe 7, and then we're going to score along the 7 inches. We're gonna do 1, 2, and 6, and then we're going to fold, fold here, and we are going to open this up, and I'm going to add this 1 inch section on the back, the opening flap here. So we're gonna add that back there like that, and then we're going to fold these 2 sections back and add glue on the one on the edge. Okay, and then fold both back along the score lines here, and then close this page and press down. Okay, and then we're going to cut a piece. Let me bring a new page here. Let's bring a few pages, and we're going to cut one piece here, and this could be like 6 by 10. Okay, so I'm gonna do 6 by 10, and we're going to score along the 10 inches at 5, and then fold. Okay, and then let's open this up, and this piece that opens like that, we're gonna glue it on top of this platform little section, and this is gonna be our floating layout. So let's add the glue over here, and we're gonna add this piece. So make sure this piece is not going all the way against that back panel, so give it a little space, and then just close these and press down. Okay, so close and press down. There we go. And then so this will open and open. I think I want to add another flap that opens down. So let's cut another piece, and this could be maybe 5.5, or we can do 5 3/4 by 7.5. Okay, and we can score at 1/2 inch along the 7.5 and fold. Okay, and then open and open, and we can add this right here at the center. Okay, so let's place this piece right there, press down, and there we go. So now this opens like that, then this closes, and then this whole thing opens, and then we have our floating page that also opens up to the side. Okay, so now we can go ahead and add paper. So I do have a couple magnets, so I guess I will put a magnet on this one. So let me go ahead and do that. And it's probably not needed if we folded it the other way, but it's okay. We are just gonna add a magnet, and we need some tape. Here it is. Okay, so we're just gonna add some tape, and the magnet up there, and then just press down here and press here. Okay, so that closes up like that. So that is gonna be one of the signatures. Now let's add paper. So I'm going to pick another paper here, and I'm gonna do a mix of these designs and of course the scraps that I want to use. So maybe this could go here. So this little piece, we said it measure, let me measure it again. So this here is 3.5 by 5 3/4. So we are going to cut this at 3.25 by 5.5. Okay, and I'm just gonna put that here. And so we are going to add the glue and place that. Okay, so that will go there. And then let's see which one can we use. I think I'm gonna use this other haunted house. Let's use the smaller scale. And actually what we could do is cut. Let me cut these here. Okay, so I'm going to cut the image so that way we don't have to, you know, kind of worry about centering or cutting. We can always just cut the image and use it as an ephemera piece. And I print my paper on 65-pound cardstock, and I use white or either white or white Dove cardstock, whichever I can find at Michael's, honestly. And it's the same cardstock that I buy to make my binding for my albums. So I use it for everything. I just really like this Michael's papers because it feels really soft. So it's good when you're binding, it's good when you're printing. I just really like it. Okay, so that we can place over here, and maybe I can back this up on the cardstock. Okay, so just gonna glue. Put that here, give it some strength. Okay. And we can cut this again. I should have inked this before I glue it, but that's okay. So now I'm just going to add a black outline. Okay, so we're just going around and there we go. Okay, and so we can place this piece right at the center here. We can place it maybe right there. Put it right here. Okay, so I'm going to add my glue on this side. And there you go. So that can go right there. Okay, let's open it to make sure I'm not gluing my page down. Alright, so we have that, and then we can probably use, I don't think that I have enough width, but we could use this for the inside. So I'm gonna cut these at 5 3/4 by, this will be by 5, I think. Let's see, 5 3/4. Oh no, this is gonna be by 4 3/4. So I don't even think this is big enough, but we can place that right here. Okay, and I'm just going to ink this piece. And then on this collection you also get a page. I didn't print all the pages, by the way. You also get a page with ephemera. So if you wanna just basically just the little skeletons there, so you can cut and put on the town. And I don't remember, I mean, I have a video on using this collection. I have a project with that, I'm gonna have to look for it and see if I can link it below, because I just had a lot of fun putting the little people on the town and, you know, making them move around and stuff. Okay, so that will be that, and then I'm just gonna add cardstock here. I mean, I know I can probably do this off camera, but I'm just gonna cut a piece here at 5.5 by 6 3/4. I think it will be the page for this flap. Okay, just so we can dress it up a little bit. Oh, I actually like the black. So let's see which side we want. I like the side with the bones, so I'm gonna use this one. Okay, so that way it looks like she's standing on something. And then maybe we can use like the bats. That probably won't be big enough, but let's see. Just trying to use my scraps. I guess I can use this one here. And so this will be, this size is 5, so I'm going to add this at 4 3/4 by 5.5, and then we can put that piece right here. Okay, so let's take that out and add the glue. Okay, so I think this is good enough to kind of see how it's coming along with, you know, the colors and stuff. And then you can always add more things and just, you know, maybe something like, if you wanted to add more little details, you can put a little banner here. I think that would be cute. So I'm just gonna make a little banner. Something like that. And we'll just glue a little piece. So you can always use those as little tuck spot if you wanted to put something in there. Okay. Okay, so now we can add these signatures. So that's gonna be here in between these two. So we are just going to glue that 1/2 inch section down. Okay, and let's go ahead and add the glue. Okay, and I'm gonna place this right there. Okay, so right in between the other two. Let's go ahead and press down. And so there we go. So I think this is turning out really cute. I hope you guys like how this is coming along. I really like this signature page. I think this video is getting a little long, so I'm actually going to work on the next signature, on the last signature page here on the next video. Let me know if you guys are following along and making this book as we go. I'm very curious to see, but also let me know what other projects you're working on, or let me know if you are doing an October daily or just hanging out with me. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.